Hello, my friends. Welcome back. I have a card for you today that was requested. So this is actually a commission card. My friend wanted to have a card that sort of announced like, I'm expecting, which I'm not, just saying. But that's what she wanted. So searching through my stash of bits and pieces, I have plenty of little baby cards. But then I came across this young lady from StampingBella called Curvy Girl. And she obviously looks like she's got a great big dress, like a full dress, which, you know, put it this way, I wore a skinny little, short dress when I had a big belly. Well, before I had a big belly and before I was actually pregnant. And my great aunt thought that asked me if I was pregnant. So I showed her this card and I went, yep, perfect. Okay, done. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to play with the StampingBella card. We've got a sentiment by Julie Hickey. So it's just going to say congratulations. And the last craft show that I went to here in Australia, I bought some papers that were sort of like alcohol inks with lots of different colors. And yes, you could probably do it, but I really liked it. So I bought it, and I will leave a link down below, obviously over to my blog, which I will show you, like, have you all the descriptions if I can find a link to different shops. Now I am in Australia, so my links are going to be Australian if I can. It is pretty hard sometimes to find places here that sell, like, all you American peeps out there, You've got lots and lots of different companies that we can send to. So I am going to be a little bit biased, let's just say. And we'll see. We'll link where that's going to go. So my skin tone, because I'm already behind, my skin tone is my usual thing. I really probably should try some different skin tones, but I like it. So we stick to the colors that we know. So it's E04, E11, E01 this time, and E00 for her skin tone. So she's going to have a little bit of darkness underneath her dress, just the top of her legs. I tried to give her a little bit of kneecaps and underneath her hairline. The next thing, so now I do miss a neck, a space jump there, which I will come back to later on. I have had a request to, okay, the lady in particular suggested a video for colouring for dummies, but we won't use that term because we just need practice. That's all we do. We just need practice and a little bit of time, which of course is always at a premium, and just have fun. Try to have fun with it. So it is a little bit of letting go and going, you know what, if I stuff up, it's a little tiny piece of cardstock. And it is what it is. So that might come. I might try and do a simple image and slow it down for you and try and talk you a little bit more into what I like to do. Because if you're first time to my channel, hi, how you going? This channel is, let's be honest, predominantly colouring, because that's what I like to do, and that's all there is to it, really, isn't it? We do what we like to do. So again, I've fallen behind my skin tones. Talked about those. Next is going to be, was our hair. So the hair I'm still going to keep with they're not browns really, they're sort of like, I don't know, dark blonde, light brown sort of type of thing. We've got E29, E25, E21, which was about as dry as anything, and E50. I've since got myself a new E21, or the refill of the E21 I should say, but I've tried to keep it that the darkness is going to be at the base of her bun and also at the top, leaving a little bit of texture, a little bit of something. Now, strictly speaking, I like to tell you warts and all, just saying. Strictly speaking, the left-hand side, our left-hand side of Curvy Girl should be a little bit darker, but that's what I did, so that's all there is to it. The dress is going to be a mixture of blue, greens and blue. So we've got BG09, BG15, BG32 for the majority of her dress. Now I've tried to give, because it's a billowing, is that the word? Billowing sort of type of dress. So I've tried to give it the impression that the fringe of the dress is, the hem of the dress is going to be a little bit tucked under, because in theory she's meant to have a belly, and obviously underneath the plate is going to be a little bit darker, because the plate's going to cause a shadow to fall onto her dress. But also we're talking about a little pregnant belly, so we want to give the insinuation that it's rounded. So that's the theory behind that. I am also giving her a little bit of shadow here and there. Honestly, I suppose my shadowing needed is a little bit off on her arm. I like to tell you what I've done wrong, and so you and I both can learn from the experience, because heaven knows I'm not like, you know, a pro. I never went to design school or graphic design or any of those type of things, but the more you do it, the more you learn, the more you play with it, the more that you just take in. So I like to tell you everything that I think that I've done wrong. Am I critical of myself? Probably, but you know, I like to be transparent. That's all there is to it. So my B's that I've got here, they are B18, B23. Now there's a big jump in that one, so that just be careful. That can be quite a hard one to blend. You might need to do a little bit of tip to tip action. I wasn't stressing too much because we're honestly using a very small area. And then we're going to go down to B21. So those two blend really quite well. So her fringe is going to be that color, the flower obviously, and her buttons are going to be sort of a blue as well. At this point I sort of realized that I haven't done her neck underneath her teacup, but we'll come back to that. That's all good. So yeah, that's what I like to tell you. I like to point out if I would change something. You know, I like to help you by showing you what I should and shouldn't have done. Once you realize, you know, is it a pretty card? I think it's a pretty card. I love the card. My friend who is going to get the card loves the card. That's the important thing, and it's all good. It's all good with the world. So the next thing we've got is the little leaves. I am not worrying about different colors for them. They are just going to be my G46. Let's go back in and color my neckline on my little girl. So I've done this a couple of times recently in a few videos, and I'm quite liking it. So hence I've done it a few times, I suppose. But what I'm going to do with this card today is we're just going to, I like my cards pretty simple. I do a lot of coloring. Coloring takes time. If you've done that at all at any point, you know that. And so I generally like my coloring just to stand out. what I'm going to do with this time with this young lady is we're going to put a couple of strips of the alcohol ink pattern paper. We'll go back to that in a minute. We've got W5, W3 and going down to a W1 to give her a little bit of grounding. We all know, if you've been here before, that that's what I like to do. I like my little girl to be raised up. Now, I gave her some really warm grey tea. So she likes a very, very strong cup of tea. That's all I can say. But it was in my hand, so that was about it. I was trying to figure out what sentiment I wanted because there was another big congratulations, and I went, do I stamp it over her legs? And my niece was like, nah, don't do that. I'm like, okay. Sometimes when you're getting late, you just need someone else to go, yeah, no. Or, yeah, you so need to do that. This is the craft paper, this pattern paper that we're going to use. So it's a mixture. Ignore the right hand side. I'm going to cut the strips, as you can see there. It's a mixture of lots of different colors. And could you do this yourself? Absolutely. But for a quick card, to have this paper in your stash is really quite pretty. So we're just going to glue a piece of this down on either side. We've stamped the congratulations in the Paper Rose Premium Dye ink, which is a hybrid ink, which is actually really good for colouring with Copic markers and watercolouring, that sort of thing. So it's relatively new to me. I'm still sort of getting used to it. I have used it for my Copics, obviously, but I'm yet to have a play with it with watercolour. So we've mounted all that up. I've trimmed off my little extra pieces. We're going to put down our panel, just making sure it's relatively in the middle of our pieces. The next thing I've got is, my niece was helping me with this as well. I said, it needs something. She's like, yeah. So I've got these uniquely creative, like iridescent bling pearls, and Picket Fence Studios has these pearls which are not backed by any glue dots or anything else, like Uniquely Creative is. One half of it is pink, one half of it is, you got the tealy coloured. They've got quite a few different ones. I'm trying to think of some of the other colours that I got recently, but they just added a little bit of something. The last thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of stickles just around my flowers, just to give her a little bit of bling. And that is my card. I hope you are well. Take care. I will talk to you very, very soon. Goodbye.